Okay guys, the highlight video from GreatStockPicks.com, Thursday, July 12th. I'm going to start off the video by showing all of my ideas from the day, even though you can see here one of our all-stars, R. Brown, called these two, which were, I hate to even go into it right now, overshadowed anything I even came close to calling, but unbelievable calls by R. Brown. But since it's my chat room, I'm going to start off with my calls, even though they're nowhere near as good as his. And I'm going to try to use these videos to show the exact reason for the calls, okay, to kind of explain what goes on in my head when running the chat room. So CBS wasn't on our watch list, but it landed on our watch list because at the open, high volume selling, okay? Not just that, but then when I check the daily, okay, CBS just straight down here, big volume. So whenever I see that, I always look at the daily chart, and I look at the daily here. At the time, this was a solid red candle hitting 30. Look back here in June, hit 30. In May, hit 30. And didn't even dwell around, didn't hang around 30, did it? Bounced up nicely both times. Okay, so CBS, very interesting to me, around 30 bucks. Okay, so here's what it looked like in real time. How did I call it? I really wasn't anxious since the SPY, the whole market was weak. I wasn't anxious to just try to grab it at 30. I wanted more information. Could have played it off a 5s trigger there. Kind of did a double bottom here, and I still didn't call it because I wanted more information from the market. So just to let you inside my head here what I was thinking. Okay, this is what it looked like. I think I turned the projector on. Try that one more time. The projector on, which puts this chart on everybody's screen, and said I like this. Over this 8-period moving average, it's basing here. It's holding 30 so far. If it doesn't roll over, then the likely move is up. I doubt it's going to base at 30 all day, which puts it over this candle here. Let me move out a little farther. Basically around 30.11 was the entry. In other words, over this base, you can see it hit it right here. 30.11. Where does the stop go? Whenever I call a base break like that or a breakthrough moving average, stop's going to go below the most below the most recent low. Okay, which the 2-candle low here is about 29.98. So we're looking at a 30.11 entry idea and approximately a 14-cent stop. And I was just grinding higher as the market did. I mean, I'm no genius because the market did a very nice rebound today. But I did do the right thing, waiting for the market to show me what was going on before giving an entry. Even though down here below 30, just any entry below 30 would have worked. Hopefully you can understand what I was thinking. This way I had a little bit of momentum on my side, and the market was finally trying to bounce at the same time. So from 30.11, it goes to whatever this is, 30.87, 76-cent move in our favor on 14 cents risk. Another one of my calls, JCPenney's. JCP, it looked like this. I mean, just straight down. It didn't give any discernible setup that I teach, other than the fact that actually I was interested in pennies when it looked like this, because on the weekly chart I had already noticed, and let me pan out here, that pennies had bounced nicely off the 20 area back here in August 2010. And remember, that's just an area, not the whole number 20, but this area right around 20. So then when it kept selling this morning, I turned on the weekly chart and turned on the projector here and realized the lows were 1944 here, 1942 here. So basically, the 1942 area was where it bounced off of before. Okay, keep in mind, it had been selling all morning. So when it got this push and started to get more volume, the 1940 area became interesting to me. All right, how did I call it? I didn't call it off a 5, even though you had a nice little bottoming tail here. See how it chopped around? If you took this on a 5s setup, in other words, the first break of a previous 5, took it here, you probably get stopped out here. You become, in my opinion, a target for market makers, HFTs, right? A lot of people see this, they go long here, put their stop below the most recent low, and boom, you're getting stopped out right there. I switched to 10-minute candles to take some of that chaos out of it, and I went ahead and called this on 10s. I'll zoom in to show it to you. Consecutive lower highs, hadn't broken a previous 10 yet. You still have lower highs here, so if it breaks this candle's high, 1956 is the entry, and there it is, and your stop's going to go below this trigger candle's low, 1946. So that was my call. 1956, 1946 stop. A dime risk on JCPenney's, and it comes back and retests and gets through that 20 area briefly. So pretty nice move there on low risk. 1956 to 2026, 70-cent move on a dime risk. That was J.C. Penney's, and I did call one crazy one. If you trade it all, you know QCOR, QCOR. Let's go to 5-minute candles. Now I have to be clear on this. This is what QCOR looked like on a 5-minute basis. Let's see here. This was the opening 5-minute candle right here. So you can see it popped up, came down, took out the lows of the day. But once it did that, then it held pretty well right in here. It was holding. So I don't think I used a projector on this one. I said over the microphone, and I said, this is for you crazy people who aren't scared of QCOR. Now, you can always trade something like this and trade it smaller, right? You don't have to go 1,000 shares. You go a couple hundred, and then you're not at that much risk. But my idea was over this base. I think I said 44.10. Stop's going to have to go at 43.50, okay? Well, below this trigger candle, worst case. So 43.60ish. So anyway, about a 50-cent risk from 44.10 pretty quickly through 45. If you noticed, the stop would be right here. So if you notice, it holds. I got to turn this back off. It holds the stop and ends up getting this huge rally. So anyone that took it at 44.10 and adhered to the stop got to move all the way to whatever that high was, 46.88. $2.78 move on about 50-something cents risk. Again, I didn't trade that one, and I probably didn't endorse it with a lot of confidence when I said, hey, if you're crazy, QCOR could work. But anyone who took it was up, pretty quickly up $1 probably in a half hour, and much more than that if they held it all day. So anyway, it's not my style, not my type of trade, but it worked out nonetheless. And let's go into, let's see, I'll go over all my calls first. ALTR, I simply called this one, try this here. It's simply called this one over this little base here. Okay, see this? Yeah, I don't know how to get my drawing tool back up where I can just draw a line, but simply called this one over this base. My long idea, ALTR, let me get the numbers, 3071. Okay, so it triggered right about there, and my stop was right there, 3061. 3071, never really looked back. It ended up making it, let's get the drawing tool back off, from 3071 it ended up making it to 3113. So still a nice little trade there on about a dime risk. And let me see if that was it for my calls. Foster Wheeler, FWLT, I mentioned over this little base here at 1545, 1538 stop. So 7 cents risk. Didn't tear it up, but it held the stop, and from 1545 got through 1570. The reason for that call, awfully beaten up and overdue for a bounce. And this one is near getting close to, well, no, I shouldn't say that, but it's multi-year lows almost here. Very interesting, good idea, I think, for an IRA buy down here, but I didn't do it today. And I think that was all of my calls. Nope, one other little low-priced one. Let me think if that's the right symbol. ATRS, crazy gap up and moved the other day. And the reason this was my last call, or the last call that out of the ones I called. Anyway, ATRS 15-minute candles here, gapped up, put in a lower high again. Looked like it was rolling over, but then today gaps up, holds pretty well. So I just said over the high of day here could work. Don't know the exact number. I know it would have been 479 on a 5-minute basis. I said, and it actually looked like this when I mentioned it. I said I would like to see it at this purple line here, which is the 200 moving average on 5s. I said I'd like to see it put in a red candle first and then break that, and that's exactly what it did. So the proper entry, and I was out of the room at the time, would have been 476, but even the 479 entry held the stop, which was, I don't know, a nickel or something, and made it to 494. I don't usually play these lower priced deals, but that one worked too, and a decent little percentage gain. I don't usually dive into that world anymore. I used to do those a lot, but either way, that one worked. And now the biggest calls of the day was by one of our all-stars, R. Brown, Coach, COH. 5-minute candles here. R. Brown called this for the room, and he's one of our all-stars, so his font, you get a chime when he posts something, and his font stands out from everybody else's. Our all-stars do. So it's very easy to see his post. He called COH at 53.52, basically the top of this candle. That would make it a low of day stop, 27 cents below. And look at that, 53.52. You ready for this? All the way to 56.02. $2.50. I'll try that one. I can't talk today. $2.50. I need to bring in a pinch hitter here. $2.50 move in our favor on Coach. 27 cents risk. And I mean, he just nailed it there. Beautiful call, but you know what? That was nowhere near his best call. His other one, SINA, I believe it looked like this at the time, kind of a double bottom thing. His idea was 46.67. Again, it would have been a low of day stop, which, are you ready for this? 18 cents below. 46.67. Unbelievable. Goes to 50.69. That's a $4.02 move in our favor. 18 cents risk. So, yeah, he made me look bad today, but I'll tell you what, it's sure nice to have him in the room. And he does that a lot. I mean, maybe not to this magnitude. Today was a strange day, but hats off to R. Brown and really a lot of the members. A lot of good ideas put out today. So I'm not going to babble any further. I've already made an 11-minute video. We will talk to you guys tomorrow.